Hey up troops, A Littleton here again with another video. Someone's just tried to grenade from below. This time, we're going to look at exactly that. Grenading from below and different spots where you can grenade from below. Here's a couple of clips with a couple of examples of how easy it is to get those kills from below. And in one clip, we even get a 2-for-1. That's whoever that was on server.
From this window.
See, he's just made vertical there, so he's there again. So we'll start with the timings of grenading from below. What do you need to look for? What do you need to wait for to get that grenade to explode on the ceiling at the perfect time? And it's easier than you think, honestly. Then we'll get into a load of different maps on where we can use grenades from below. Ultimately, as long as the floor's soft or the floor's destructible and there's an enemy or something on the other side of that floor that's worth destroying, get a grenade from below there. These are just the common anchor spots that I use. But if you know that there's an enemy on a spot where the floor is soft, get a grenade gone there and get that kill. It's almost unfair, isn't it? I don't know how I feel about grenades from below. Sometimes I think they're a genius part of Siege and it's someone who's using map knowledge to their advantage from below. But then I also feel for that person who's quite often me on the other side of the floor who doesn't get the chance to fight back. Like, is that fair? Well, I suppose it is fair because I'm going to say this later in the video as well. Siege is a team game. Make sure you have control of the bottom bit of the map so they can't just freely nade from below. I'm really torn on it. Other than that, that's enough waffling. Let's just get stuck into it. I think before we show any grenades, we need to make sure we shoot the radio. Get out my game. So before we show the specific spots, I just want to talk about grenading below quickly and how you sort of practice and how you get it right. Now, a lot of people will say, and it's not wrong to say, but when you're holding a grenade, you'll see the operator's hand move just before you should throw it. Now, if we go over to this wall and just watch here, watch Sledge's right hand that's holding the grenade. His knuckle will just move slightly before you should throw it, apparently. Now, watch his hand. You see his knuckle move just there. You see him like he's lifted his index finger up a little bit. Just there. You can use that as a timer for when you're about 7 meters, as if I've pinged 7 meters spot on, that's unreal. But when you're 7 meters away, you can stand underneath, you can wait for that finger to lift up, and then you can throw it. I personally don't like doing that because I find myself staring at like the hand of the operator, not looking at my cursor, not looking at anything else on the map. Obviously, whilst you've got a frag grenade out, you're pretty exposed to a lot of different things. So I personally don't like doing that. If you are comfortable with it, it's whatever works for you. But personally, I think just looking at that circle reticle in the middle of your screen and just learning when the different ticks go off and learning how long you've got before you need to throw it, it's literally just a matter of practice. The grenade fuses are 5 seconds long. You want to be throwing it after about 4.2 seconds, but you can just watch the reticle flashing. And once the reticle gets a little bit faster, that's when you know you need to throw it. It's something that you're probably going to have to go into a few custom games or a few T-hunts and just practice. And it's something that will benefit you because it's literally free kills. I said it at the start of the video, but I don't know how I feel about grenading from below, just in general. Like, I feel that it's kind of cool and it's a really smart part of the game where someone who's more aware of like the map above than below will get an advantage. But I also feel for the person on the floor above because they have no way of fighting back. It's a completely unfair fight. Yes, you could not stand in common places. But I sometimes when I get naded from below, I think like, well, that wasn't really fair, was it? Like, I didn't have a chance to fight back there. But I suppose it's a team game, and if you want to fight back, you don't give the attackers control of the room below where you're standing. You need a teammate to play down here, or you need a way of not giving control to this room. Which, by the way, no one ever looks after stock when you're defending Clubhouse, but that's a story for another video. So, what we'll do is we'll have a quick go at showing you how you can grenade from below without using the wall, but also there's another little tip which I've mentioned in a previous video where you can actually use the wall to your advantage to bounce it off the wall. Obviously, if you're trying to grenade there, you're not going to be able to bounce it off any walls, but if you're trying to grenade sort of here, or if you were going to grenade here, you can use the wall to make the timing a little bit easier, and I'll show you how. So if you're grenading in the middle of the ceiling, you've got to get the timing just right. So I tend to just watch for the flashes, and it's just something that I've learned over time that I know exactly when that grenade's going to go off. Now, what you can do, if you wanted to grenade here, for example, you don't have to cook it for as long because you can throw it at the wall and then it'll bounce off the wall. So I'll show you what I mean. So you don't have to cook it for as long as you normally would. You can bounce it off the wall and you can make sure you get that trajectory right. I really like doing that when you're nading somewhere near a wall. If you're nading in the middle of a floor, you've got to time it just right. being able to do that with the wall just gives you a little bit more leeway where you can slightly undercook it or even slightly overcook it, and you still get the desired effect. So if you're trying to nade somewhere, like here's a common spot, or even here, which we'll talk about in a sec, make sure you use that wall to bounce off. It's something that's going to help you in the early days. Eventually what will happen is you'll get that good at timing it that you won't need to use that. Oh, as if I thought you might be able to reach that. You know, there's some places in the game where you can sledge from below. I don't know if I've ever spoke about that on a video. Can you vault on that? No. I don't think I can get on this table to show you, but and some places you can actually sledge the floor from below. It's a bit like playing buck, but obviously you're still on sledge. I can't believe you can't get up there. That's outrageous. Anyway, oh no, I can vault. So we must be able to sledge it now. There we go. Completely random tip, but there you go. In some places you can vault on a table and you can sledge from below. Anyway, eventually you're just going to practice the grenades, and you're just going to get the timing right, and it's just free cheese, man. I feel bad talking about it though, because I feel bad about the people above, but hey, we've got to get the kills, we've got to win the rounds. Enough like absolute waffling on forever here. Let's just talk about the spots. So on Clubhouse, when you're attacking CCTV, there's two main points that you want to learn of where to grenade. The first one is here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the holes in the floor, and then we can see where that is below, and it just makes it a little bit easier to understand. So this area here is probably the most common anchor point on the whole site. People are going to play here to hold in construction. People tend to, on defense, to make a rotate just here. The rotate's normally a bit higher. I've fallen off the table there. That's upsetting. I can't believe I've done that. Come on, Andy, you're better than that. Oh, you can't reach, that's why. There you go. The rotate's normally there, and what you can do is you can play here like with a C4 ready to throw over the top. You can also stand here and you can hold CC window from here, but like this area here is probably the most common spot. You'll also, as a defender, if you play smoke or mute, you'll have a line across the top of this wall, and it means you can just like grenade over the top of the wall onto the default plan spot, which is here. That's the most common anchor point. The second most common anchor point is right here. So you can use this wall to cover here. This is a really, really strong spot, providing this breach isn't open. I think if you've watched the Sledge and Habana videos we did recently, we always talk about there being a shield here. It's a really strong spot for a shield. Reason being is you can hold here behind the shield and hold the breach. You can hold the CC jump in from here, but you've also got cover from construction door here as well. So from one position, you can hold the breach, you can hold the window, and you can hold con door all from one spot around here. Obviously, the danger is the floor's soft. So let's go downstairs and see where those two spots are. The first one is in stock, and you can use the floor here to have an idea of what you want to aim at. So what we're going to talk about, or what I'm trying to explain, is the references below that you need to know to remember where to grenade from below. So here, I just tend to use this floor on one panel in. You can see it's like one panel in from the wall, one panel in from the edge of this wall. The difference in floor in here is this is top red. This is where the floor is not soft. That's solid floor at the top red stairs. This here obviously is the cache wall, and you can see where the wall kicks out in cache there. That's exactly what happens below here. So you want to be coming into stock, and I mean I don't really need to show the grenade on every single example, but like if you were to grenade like that and anyone's in that area, you're dead. I'm not going to grenade the floor in every spot because it'll take me forever to do it. I'm just going to show you where the spots are and probably use a grenade on the odd one. Then the other spot, which is where the cache door is, which is what we were sledging below before, is here. If you can grenade here, or sometimes this side of the cache door, I can't get up there and use the sledge, but this is the other side of that door. Obviously that's the door there, and the other side here. If you nade either side of that, you're always in for a chance of a kill. I like doing it this side sometimes. Obviously, if there's a shield this side of the floor, you want to be nading the shield. Don't forget as well, this line here is the edge of the breach outside. So if there's any bandits tricking, this is where bandits going to be. In fact, I'll go and hammer the floor there just so it's more obvious. So you can see the breach line here. If we go downstairs and look where that is, you can see where the solid floor is. Like here, that's outside. And then you've got the breach there, and this is where the bandit's going to be. So even if you're not grenading from below, if you're playing the Ash or you're playing the Zafir and you want to get the bandit batteries off the wall, that's where you want to be aiming. You can get it from stock as well. But yeah, if anyone's bandit tricking, that's where you want to be nading. Obviously come in from blue and you can nade from here, or come in from stock and you can nade from the door. But yeah, some spots on Clubhouse. So we've moved on to Oregon upstairs now, and I've made the holes already so you can see where we mean. This place here is quite often where someone will play a shield, and we'll go and show you where that is below. You'll play a shield like along this line here and hold into trophy like that. You've also then got back kids. this area here where someone's going to be using this rotate hole to hold big window like this. And you can use the hatch as a reference point, but that's a really easy one to do. But probably the most common one, I think, is this area here in what's called hobo, or behind the double bunk bed, where someone's again holding big window, but also holding trophy door and can hold top white. And don't forget there's a rotate here. So this spot here is really strong because you can hold big window, trophy, top white, and through the rotate here you can hold the breach. Really strong place to be playing. I used to play with Wamai a lot because then you can stop the stuff getting through the window there. But we'll show you where those points are below. The first one's super easy, like it's right above white stairs. You can see there. That's the back of the bed. That's the wall. Just be careful when you come up white stairs. Like so many people have like vertical holes to watch you coming up here, so just be careful when you come up here. But you can see where you want to be aiming because the floor changes pattern. Can you see that like it's vertical planks coming this way? But then after this one horizontal one, they all go horizontal. So look where the flooring changes pattern. You can see it's just where the white stairs is to the right. That's where you want to be aiming there. The other one to get rid of the shield is here in security. So this is the kids' door there. You know where we were above. So just here, bounce it off the wall here, using the security wall to bounce off. You might get a kill, but you're definitely going to get the shield using the wall to bounce off. And the other one... Oh, wait, no, the other one was in dining room. What am I going that way for? The other one is... That kid's in kitchen here, not dining room. I'm all over the shop. Using the hatch as a reference point. I'm not going to be able to reach that, but using the hatch as a reference point, you've got to look this way. Now, the thing is with kids, it's a really difficult place to get a grenade kill because it's such a big room. Like, most of these grenades from below are going to work well because someone's in a fairly compacted area. Like here, there's not many places you can be between there and there. Do you know what I mean? Whereas over here in kids, there's loads of different places. Someone could be stood here. Someone could be stood here. Someone could even be stood here using the bed as cover here. So ideally, you'd probably want to get a drone top white and just try and see what's going on in kids. But you don't want to be just throwing grenades from below if you're not 100% sure where somebody is. But here's a really good spot because, like I say, normally they're holding this tighter angle here. But more often than not, you're going to have more luck if you grenade from below on the other side of the bed in what's called hobo, just here. Kanal enjoyers, rise up. Newfound respect for everybody who commented on that video when we talked about Kanal. For who's out there as a Kanal enjoyer, I've got a lot of time for you. But what we're here to do is show you where you can grenade from below and have a decent chance of a kill. So there's 2 or 3 places. I'll show you the main 2, really. One is behind the bomb, fairly obvious. On most sites, if you were to grenade somewhere near the bomb, it's a solid structure. Remember when bombs used to be hollow? That was mad, wasn't it, really? But it's a solid structure that always provides good cover. You can put shields next to them. You can put a zombie barriers next to them. It's always a good place to look for grenading from below. As I said on the last map on Oregon, you only want to be throwing these grenades if you've got information that somebody's there. Obviously, you can hear the footsteps from below as well, but don't just waste your grenades. They're so strong. The main one nowadays, though, is this hatch. So it can be tricky here because you're going to have the Azami. You know when you put the Azami barrier, the Kiba barrier on here, and you can hold the feet angles? Everyone's doing that these days. So this area here is a really good spot to be grenading. Now, we're going to be able to use the hatch as a reference point, but it's not always guaranteed. And the reason for that is where this line is here on the edge of the hatch. This like gray line is solid floor and this is solid floor. This is soft floor. But if they stood like here, for example, depending where the nade grows off, it might down them, but it also might just do a lot. It'll definitely do a lot of damage, but it won't always get the kill. However, they aren't always stood here. Quite often stood here. To use this angle here. Like from here, you don't get the best angle of what you're trying to see. You don't have to be a bit closer up, but use the hatch as an example and we'll go down below and see where these 2 points are. So the first one is the hatch that's down here in projector room. I never ever actually call this projector room. I've only just looked at what it was called here. I wouldn't know what to call this. I would probably call it a small office or something. But yeah, that's the hatch there. Obviously, you've got the soft ceiling before it. Again, if you can get a grenade over at printer and then just have a look if there's an Azami playing here. Honestly, 80% of the time nowadays, 99 times out of 10, well, 80% of the time, there's going to be an Azami playing here. So you can nade either here or you can nade the hatch itself. Don't forget you can nade the hatch. The other one is here behind the bomb. So I generally know where this area is because I always play Valkyrie when I'm defending this site. And you know that's behind the bomb. And just here's behind the server desk, so I know where to C4 from below when I need to. But yeah, just timing a nade here behind the bomb, depending where the Azami is, or here on the hatch, or here just behind. You just got to know where these areas are underneath. But if there's an Azami there, it's definitely going to do some damage. You can see that that's where the soft floor ends, and that's where I punch the floor above. So just to the other side of here is where that solid floor starts. But 2 really good spots where if there's someone there, obviously, what a stupid statement that is. If there's someone there, you're going to get a kill. Well, yeah, obviously, if you time the grenade right and there's somebody there, you're going to get a kill. Shut up, Andy. Shoot the Speakers, honestly, they are the most annoying thing in the game. I think I hate these speakers more than I hate the jukebox on Clubhouse. Also, this clock ticks until you get rid of both of them. Right, so we're on to Cafe, and we're going to look at the top floor. And I'm sure if you've seen any of my older videos or a lot of other people's videos at the minute, the Azami strat around the back of piano, around the back, it's called Cigar Lounge, but everyone calls it piano. Around the back of piano is a really, really, really strong place to play. Don't forget Pixel, which is probably the most common anchor point on this map and this site, is solid floor. There's nothing you can really do to get rid of anything here, whereas the Azami will have a keeper barrier here, a keeper barrier there, and a keeper barrier here usually to play behind. So this area here is somewhere you're going to be able to get a decent grenade from below. Now, this hatch is exactly the reference point you want to be looking at, but don't get disheartened if this hatch is reinforced, which is what a lot of the Azami players will do. You can still nade to the side of the hatch and do a lot of damage, and more than likely get it down as well, depending where the Azami is standing, because there's no way she's going to be stood right in the middle of the hatch, although it's probably just our luck that they are. So we'll get rid of the hatch, and we'll go and have a look where that is. One more place I want to show you is where you'll quite often find a Maestro or an Echo just sitting on their cams. So Maestro and Echo are really common on this site, Maestro especially. But Maestro's going to sit here, or Maestro's going to sit here. Here's a little bit more dangerous for him because you can get peeked from the balcony of a new hatch there. So standing here, they do it all the time. And like they're trying to stop the denial, trying to stop the default plant here. There's a rotate there normally. They're trying to stop the default plant by just sitting on the cams. They'll also be stood on here, which is what you don't want, because if they are stood on here, you're not going to be able to grenade them from below. We'll go and have a look where these points are. We'll make both holes either side, and you can see when we go below. So the first spot on Cocktail is down here in Reading, and these are the two places you want to be grenading. You don't want to be grenading the middle. I always use the middle of this bookshelf as reference. You don't want to be nading the middle of the bookshelf, because that's only going to hit the table. You want to be nading to the left of it or to the right of it. Obviously, a drone, you need that information to know where they're standing. If you nade here and they're stood here, you're not going to kill them, obviously. So you just need to make sure you know which side they're going to be. Don't forget the other place where people will quite often stand, and I nearly didn't mention it then, is the other side of the hatch. But again, I'm feeling we're using a lot of hatches as reference points here. You see this hatch in laundry? People stand here a lot as well. I'm just like stand on the cams here to try and deny the plant. Obviously, you can see where that is. It's just the opposite corner of laundry there. Don't forget these spots are also applicable on defense as well. This is a very common plant spot. So if you're coming down to get rid of the, to try and deny the plant from a C4, don't forget that's the same spot. You can learn something there as well. So the other hatch that we were talking about for the back of piano for Azami is over here in train. So this is the hatch. That's the piano stage over there. And you've just got to nade around the hatch or on the hatch if it's not reinforced. Don't forget you can grenade the hatches. They are soft, obviously. But if you're trying to find the Azami, it's a bit of a higher ceiling, this one. So you need to send the grenade a little bit earlier than you normally would. Like it's quite a high ceiling. But yeah, if there's an Azami playing in piano, and you can, don't forget, it's dead easy to get entrance as well. To get entrance? That makes no sense. It's dead easy to enter into mining as well. So you can enter into mining, go through into the other side. You can start piping your nade as soon as you get here. Get rid of that Azami playing at the back of piano. So on to border then, and I would probably say this is the most common grenade from below that we see in Siege, I think. This very obvious anchor point here behind half wall when you're defending the breach in the door. It's easily grenaded from below because you can do it from a window as well. So let me just make a hole here. Just bear in mind though, this space is bigger than you think. Like, you could be stood here, and if a grenade goes off there, you're not dead, and vice versa. So you just got to think about the space there. But this is the most common grenade from below, I think, in all of Siege, because all you do is stand at that window underneath. The next one you need to think about, really, is this area here. And what will dictate whether you grenade from below over there or over here is which side your team is attacking from. If your team is attacking from the east balcony and the archives window, then you're going to have a defender playing around here who's probably prepping a C4 ready to throw over the top, right? So if that is the case, grenading around here is always going to be a good idea. Again, we can use our favorite hatch as a reference point. But let's go and have a look at where these points are. I grenade this one all the time on vent. So let me just make another hole, actually, before I go down there, because I want to show you 2 points. Yes, we're going to be able to grenade half wall, but we also want to be knowing about this area as well. I'm going to show you where that is. I'll tell you why in just a second. So as we come downstairs, outside in vents, I mean, the beauty of this is you don't even need to get into the building to do it, right? Just bear in mind that you want to be sending, 100% want to be sending a drone through here first, before you open that window, just to see if there's any holes in the floor. Because you'll quite often have someone with a shotgun make a hole in the floor and then wait for somebody to come and prep this window. It happens all the time. So just make sure you send a drone in there and make sure there's no holes in the floor with somebody watching this window before you go in. So when you want to grenade half wall, you can see the area you want to be aiming at. This is slightly to the left of the middle. The middle's about there. But it just depends on, I mean, you've sort of got to have a bit of an educated guess. I tend to just go for this area here. But it's a really, really common grenade spot. But what's more common these days, I find, is getting a kill in this area here. So this area here is where most people are going to play a shield. So if people are playing a shield, they're going to be playing it alongside this locker here. Now, everyone knows not to play half wall because you're going to get grenaded from below, but people still stand here all the time. And it's a really easy grenade from below because you can use these pipes and vents as a way of sort of bouncing it and keeping it close to the ceiling. But if there's a shield there, one, you're going to do your team a favor by getting rid of the shield. And two, it's probably more common for me to get a kill there now than it is here because people don't stand here anymore. And the other one is the hatch that we saw. You can see it back at workshop. This space here is absolutely huge though, so to get a grenade kill, you've got to make sure you're spot on. This wall only goes so far, and obviously the rest of it's in bathroom. This is all soft floor as well. So you've got to really make sure you have an educated guess. You don't really want to be having educated guesses. You want to have solid information because you don't, I said it before, I'll say it again, you don't want to be wasting frag grenades unless you know exactly where the enemy is. But you can see, this is what I want to show you here, by the way. This line down here is where the workshop wall ends and where the bathroom begins. So like here, this side of that line, see the wall below there. So this is bathroom, this is workshop. When you're grenading from below, you're not generally going to be stood over the bathroom. Like this is really far back. They're generally going to be around this area because they want to try and challenge onto the window or fire C4s or try and get up here or whatever. But you want to be looking at the hatch. I think around here is probably your best bet. So using the hatch is your reference point. If anyone's there, they're absolutely done. So that's probably a little bit too close. You probably want to be this side of the hatch really, but you get the gist. The one on vents though, if you get grenaded, if you're playing behind half wall and you get grenaded from below, you've only got yourself to blame because it's where everyone runs to at the start of the round to try and get a free kill. Something that I haven't mentioned, which is nothing to do with grenades, but I want to, is if you're, and this works all the time by the way, if you're defending, what you can do in the prep phase is come down here and prep this window, right? Hit it twice at the bottom. Then when you go upstairs, go to the sandwich window, which is this window here, and do the same thing here, right? Hit it twice. Then just pop out a bit of the barricade so all the sound will come through so you get good sound. And what you can do is you can wait for someone to break this barricade and just wait here until you hear the sound of them taking the pin out of the grenade. Jump out, get your free kill, and don't forget you've already prepped this window so you can just jump straight back in. It works all the time. In higher elo, what I'll tend to do when I'm playing a rank game is I'll have a teammate come and wait against it like here to hold the sandwich window. And what I'll do is just stand here and pull the pin out of the grenade and just bait the guy out the window, and then my teammate just gets a free kill because he jumps out of there straight away. But if you're playing in like silver, gold, plat, this will be a free kill almost every round. As soon as you hear that grenade pin, get out the window because they can't defend themselves. They've got a grenade in the hand. The only thing you've got to hope for, they haven't got a teammate covering them. But a little bit of a sidetrack there, but we move. So we're on to Villa now, and aside from border, this is probably my favorite place to use grenades from below. If you ever watch my stream, you'll see me get kills here all the time because there's two very, very common anchor points on this map, on this site. So the first one here is behind the bar. We'll go downstairs and I'll show you where this is, but we'll make a note of the one behind the bar there. And then the next one where everyone plays all the time is the vault. Now, when you nade the vault, there's actually a wall that runs below us here in line, almost splits the vault in half. So what you can do is either nade the front of the vault, you can see that wall there. You can either nade the front of the vault, or you can nade the back of the vault. And obviously there's that wall, so you can either nade this side or this side of the wall. You have to take a bit of an educated guess. I normally go to the front, to be honest with you, because if you take cover at the back, you can be seen from that door, and most people are here trying to do this. So the front here is a better option, in my opinion. Now, the other thing we're going to talk about is an early round nade here, which is on top main, where people are going to be holding study from and holding top main, and we'll have a look at where that is. But it's right above the front door. But you'll quite often see people play a shield here, like along there. And then they can hold into study and they can hold main, so it's another common point. So let's talk about the one above the front door first, because it's the most obvious. You can get this from the door. All you need to do is stand here and nade here. If I'm honest, I tend to nade this panel here because it's like difficult to get up there, but I tend to nade there. You wouldn't believe the amount of kills that you get at the start of a round, especially because people have just been setting up the site. Like, a lot of these nades from below tend to work later in the round because it's where people are going to anchor and try and defend from. But the amount of people that must be just like rotating back to site or setting up the site, still reinforcing this wall or something, it happens. I've just held F to try and reinforce the wall here, by the way. I realise I'm playing attack, so I can't reinforce anything. But yeah, you get a kill there, very common. But the two that I do every single time I play Villa, I go and nade these areas. This is the bar here. That sledge hole there is the middle of the bar. Now, don't forget you can stand on this and you can sledge either side as well. But that's the left-hand side of the bar, that's the middle of the bar, and this is the right-hand side of the bar. So depending on what you want to do, you got these beams as reference points. You got middle, left, and right. So you can take your pick which side you want to grenade. Now, when it comes to the vault, let me just go out here and make a rotate here, and you'll be able to see easier. So when it comes to the vault, this is the front of the vault, right? The one that's closest to the cabinet here. And then if we just come around this side, this is the back of the vault. So it's up to you which one you want to go with. I always have more success nading the front of the vault. So what I'll tend to do, if I know that downstairs is clear, I'll come here first, use the wall as my friend to try and bounce off to get a kill from the bar. And then I'll come here, I'll sledge my way through this wall, and then I'll stand here, and then I'll nade. Again, use the wall and try and nade the vault to get a kill from the vault as well. And the success that I have from nading here and nading here is insane. Like, I'm not going to say a kill a round, but I'm going to say at least a kill every other round, especially later on. It works all the time. I've mentioned it in other videos, and I don't want to feel like I'm giving you the same information all the time, but if you don't nade, if you've got grenades and you don't come down here and nade behind the bar or come and nade the front of the vault, honestly, you're doing it wrong. Well, I don't want to say you're doing it wrong, because obviously there's loads of ways of doing it in Siege, but it's too easy for it. Easy freebies there. We're on to Nighthaven now then, and there's the amount of opportunity for grenades from below, especially on this site, the server and command, because there's all the floor's soft pretty much, but people aren't aware of where the grenades from below are yet. So I board a half wall. People won't stand there because they know they're going to get grenaded. Well, for some reason, people stand here all the time. They use this as an anchor point to defend onto the mez, depending which site setup you've got. Usually lines of sight across here and here. But you can defend here from mez, and you can defend the doorway into what's the breach room. Is that called electrical? No, it's not electrical. That's electrical. What's this? I actually know what it's called. IT. I don't think I just say the breach. That's worth knowing. But the other one that we're going to look at is stopping anyone who's bandit tricking here, because there's a window literally directly below us. Let's make that hole, and then we'll make the hole next to the hatch. I mean, you're going to be able to use the hatch as a reference point, but right here, let's drop the hatch and have a look. So here in the lounge area, so if you don't know where lounge is, you come through the front door all the way along there, come down here, go past kitchen, come into the lounge. Now what you want to be doing is looking about halfway down the wall from the hatch. So that wall is slightly less than halfway, a bit to the right. Use maybe, every time I do this, I try and find like reference points to remember it by. So like maybe go in line with the plant, or the two green walls, and sort of in between there, like you've got the grey pillar type thing. So you've got the hatch and then the next grey pillar. If you can get a grenade here with about a minute left in the round, honestly, it's so good. I just destroyed my own drone there. It's so good. And the other one is from the window, which you'll see where we made the holes here. So this window on the outside of storage, you can see where it is outside that big chopper thing. Come to the window here. You can see this is where the bandit's going to be bandit tricking from. Just bear in mind, a bit like we talked about on vents in Border where people prep holes, this is very common for someone to prep a hole there and wait at the window. And again, it can work for you if you're on defense as well. Let me just nip back up there. I won't be a second. Talking with yourselves. But it can work for you on defense as well. You can use these grenades from below in some places to your advantage to try and get an early peek on someone. So that area there, we just nip back over into IT, which I now know it's called. Learned something in this video. Thank you. It's a long way up there, and it would have been. Why didn't I just go up the mez stairs? Why did I not just go up there? What am I doing? Anyway, you can see here, it's really easy and like, a real easy way of getting an angle. You can make like one shotgun hole here and just wait for someone to peek that window. But yeah, you're going to get the bandit if he's tricking there, but honestly, this one here works all the time. Unless they've got control with electrical and this is open, which isn't always the case, but people stand here all the time. Really easy freebie from below. So there we have it. That's the grenading from below spots I like to use. But if there's any anchor points where you know you can get almost guaranteed grenade kills from, get it in the comments below. I learn things in Siege all the time as well. On that Zero video, I think it was, I tried to rappel out of the Kafe skylight, and I didn't know that you need the bomb to be there for you to be able to rappel out the skylight. I learned something there as well. So if there's any spots you know, get them in the comments. If you've watched the video 10 times, if you've watched it for 10 seconds or 10 minutes or even 10 hours, which would be a bit outrageous, but if you have, thank you. The channel's nothing without you, the viewer. Yes, you looking at this video right now. Thank you. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Cheers.